Hi everyone, it's Gail here with a journal share. I just finished this custom order journal and wanted to share it with you. Still have glue on my hands even, so just finished it. This one is one of the 5-ring binder books. I found another one of these Handyman journals at the antique store last visit and love it. It's got the best little graphics in it. This one was in a little bit more used shape, and so the spine here and here was a little worn. So I went ahead and put some lace on it. So it's some brown lace, and I think goes really well with the book. So let me get you in frame here, and let's go in and see what we've got. So this one is one of the 1950s versions, and it's just so fun. Let's see if I go like that. Can I get the whole thing in the camera? Yes. Okay, so I did leave some pages in, and as well, oops, sorry, I hit the camera. The person that gets this book will also get these pages that I didn't use for decorating in the book. I just think it's fun to include those, and then they can, use them at will. So this book also has children's pages. This is from a children's dictionary, and I chose the page that had the hammer on it. And all these little tabs were intact and in good shape, and I was tickled about that because the graphics are so cool on those tabbed pages. At the beginning of each section, I left a couple of pages in, ones that had a little more interest, were colored or had some cool graphics on them. So that's at the beginning of each one. And then got a children's page here. I've attached one of the envelopes that I made for this book that is in the style of Tracy Fox. So if you haven't watched her tutorial for these envelopes and her tags, go check out her channel. It's Tracy, Tracie Fox, Fox. So go check her out. So here's the first envelope, and then this book has a lot of vintage wallpaper in it. So this is a piece of the vintage wallpaper that I've just sewn on to the page. There's also an awful lot of sewing in this book, so you'll see that as we go along. This again, vintage wallpaper, made a little tuck with that. And in that tuck, I have a piece of Tim Holtz. There's a lot of Tim Holtz as well in this book because it just goes so well. One of my V-mail envelopes, the vintage V-mail. They're so cool and provide a lot of writing space. So that's tucked in there. A piece of Tim Holtz vellum, and a little flashcard from a children's flashcard set. This is a page out of, oh gosh, what are they called? The Childcraft books. The Childcraft books. And this specific part was building things to play with. And so they made this little dining room set out of wood and such. So this is a coffee dyed bag that I adhered vintage coupon on. This is a piece of the ledger paper that is coffee dyed that Denise sells in her shop, A Tattered Dream. So I love it. It coffee dyes really well. So another one of the tabs, a couple more of the original pages. Here's another children's page. Another wallpaper page, and this one I've tucked one of the Tracy Fox inspired tags, and it's got a little bit of an Edith Holden quote there, and then I've just tucked inside the pocket a little piece of coffee dyed paper to write a note on, and then tucked it inside this wallpaper pocket. And over here is also another big pocket that you could put lots of goodies in. I tried to do this book so that she'd have lots of surfaces that she could kind of make her own. So I'm hoping I achieved that. This is a envelope made out of Tim Holtz vellum, and inside I've just put in coffee dyed paper that obviously stuck to the glue. Just a piece of coffee dyed paper to journal on and take notes on, whatever. So that goes back in the envelope. I see what's going on. I hit in the middle there. I haven't used this Tim Holtz vellum yet. I bought it quite some time ago and just hadn't used it, but I love it. It's got such a great feel to it. A couple more of the original pages. This is a children's book page from my little Kiko book. I'm just about out of that. Everything else is torn and taped and compromised in some ways, so I did use a couple of pages of that in here. This is vintage wallpaper with a wonderful texture to it, and I've just adhered it on the bottom and some lace there. This little pocket has a big tag in it. This is just an offcut of paper that I used in the book, and this little vintage coin envelope that was somehow related to bingo, and this I think is a vintage sales tag, and then a dime roll, and those are all tucked in that pocket. This is a wallpaper pocket, this shiny wallpaper, very 60s looking. And in there I've got a vintage postcard, and I just sewed a little muslin tab onto that pocket there. And this is once again one of the original index cards, and then these pages with nails. This is a page from a children's book. It's very yellowed, very vintage looking. I put Tim Holtz reinforcers on it just because it is so yellowed and worn. I was afraid it wouldn't hold up. This page I've made a great big full page pocket, and inside I've tucked this big index card that has lace on the top, and I kind of pull it down so this bottom lace goes over the top. I liked how that turned out. Then this is a wallpaper page, again very textured. You can hear it's kind of ribbed, I guess you could say. And I've tucked in here the Thomas Edison book that my friend Aaliyah sent me. I just thought it went so well with this more masculine journal. I kind of had a lot of fun with this journal, mixing the masculine and the feminine. So I have Thomas Edison there, and then I've got an Edith Holden page with flower closure. It's an envelope made into an envelope with the flower closure, and then some evaporated milk. That's just a vintage label and a vintage Monopoly piece. It was just kind of fun to mix the masculine and the feminine in this book. I really had fun with that. So thank you, Aaliyah. That went perfectly. And I'm sure my gal that gets this book is going to just love that too. So then here's the original pages again. This is from the Childcraft book. And this is from another children's book. I also included some Franken paper in here. I thought that might be kind of fun to use as a background to build on. This is a piece of scrapbook paper. I adhered sewing, made this long pocket with wallpaper, and then I just made this little tag with, it's got a Tim Holtz Simplify charm on it, and that tucks down in the pocket. And then lots of space for her to create her own thing. A couple more of the original pages, and children's book, some wallpaper. This page, I don't know if I can fit this in camera, but I made it so this little tag has a brad here, and then this folds down, and if you can see, it's got airmail paper, coffee dyed airmail paper on the back, so so that can be written on as well, and that just tucks back up under there. Some more of the vintage wallpaper. And this lovely children's book page came out of the My Book House book. I love it. Love it, love it. This is a page that it's a coffee dyed file folder on the back and coffee dyed paper on the front. Couple little pockets. I just have some Tim Holtz ephemera stuck in there. And a couple of the original pages. Then this original page, I actually attached a bingo card to the back, and there is a pocket back here. Oh gosh, my fingers are so gluey. There's a pocket back here if she wants to put anything in there. Children's book page. Again, the Tim Holtz vellum with the coffee dyed paper inside. And another children's book page. I love this. It's so bright and happy. And then this page is another wallpaper page, and it's got another Tracy Fox inspired envelope on it. I used the Tim Holtz photo strips and just layered it up. This is actually, as the other one was, a page from this book that I used there. And then I just attached it there. And the back is another original page from the book. This pocket has another Tracy Fox tag with the Edith Holden on the little tag. And there is a pocket down here too. I just don't have anything in it. She can fill that as she wants. Some more original pages. The Kiko book, and still room to journal. Here's a piece of vintage wallpaper. This is from the Childcraft book, the vintage children's book. And then this page, it's just cardstock. It just folds out. It's got a little accordion paper ribbon there and some washi tape. Just a base for her to put her own treasures in here. And once again, the originals. Then this pocket, I just tucked some of this vintage ledger paper, just tri-folded it and then tucked that in the pocket of the wallpaper. And then this again is one of those beautiful pages from the My Book House book. Again, some Franken paper. Another index card here. This is vintage wallpaper. This was one of those things that I had fun kind of mixing the masculine and feminine. This great old car and then some pretty fabric that I just ruffled down the edge. So that was a fun page. And this is a vintage children's, like a dictionary. And it's super old and yellowed, and so I sewed it onto cardstock, and I actually reinforced the edge with some washi just to make sure it made it through. Then this page just has a pocket. It's got a couple of offcuts from papers used, and then one of my parchment tags with a little pocket right here for her to use. And then this was envelope that I was doing for mail art, and I just cut off the flap, and I've just included in here several offcuts of the paper that was used in the making of this journal, and she can just tuck whatever she would like in there. So this is my latest. This is the Handyman's book. I hope I'm lucky enough to find another one someday. I've had two in my life, and maybe that's the quota. I don't know. So I hope you enjoyed looking through, and Kim, I hope you love this journal. I am super happy with how it turned out. It's just big and fat and fun. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.